very special guest, even for me as well, but a very, very, very special guest, and this is a really special guest tonight, is one and only Mr. Malcolm Page, ladies and gents.
Good evening to you all.
Malcolm, thrice verily welcome to the... Well, that rhymed, didn't it? Malcolm, thrice verily welcome to the Tilton Talk Show. Produced every single Monday night, pandemic or no pandemic, we just battered through it and got on with it. And firstly, had my birthday party over the weekend. As I never mention that it's my birthday on Christmas Day, do I? Never. Not ever. I won't be able to say that anymore after December 25th for a few months. So. But cut a long story short, got me new number plates, N888KRO. Sorry, Sports, but then it's N888KRO. They went on the car today. So now I'm official owner of a Keep Right on number plate, and that is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I've just had a look at them. They look really good.
They do look smart, don't they? Yeah. And thank you, Mrs. Browne, for that amazing mug you gave me with every single member, every single guest that has ever been on the Tilton Talk Show written on it, and it's absolutely brilliant. That's going to go into my. So yeah, grand time was had by all. The hog roast was just off the scale amazing. Hog roast was amazing. And thanks to everybody for turning up that, could make it. I know there's an awful lot of people that couldn't make it, and I understand the reasons why. But I bet you will come to my funeral.
When's that booked for?
Right, okay, Mr. Malcolm Page. Malcolm. So, wow, let's go back to the 1970s, shall we, when I first started going to the blues. And you may well have played in this game. It was the week after Tony Want had his leg broke at Newcastle, and then we played Newcastle back at St Andrews. That was the first time my daddy held my hand, took me up the Coventry Road, and that was the day I fell in love. And I've never been out. Not ever.
You must like pure violence.
Not so much the violence. No, it was... I was a really wiry, tiny little child, as you see by some of them photographs on there, and I'd never seen tens of thousands of people before. I'd never seen a football stadium before. I had lived in Birmingham actually, but I'm in the inside of a football stadium, and I'd never ever heard a noise that was just off the scale, unbelievably loud, and that was the day that I fell in love, and here I am.
Well, when I say the pure violence, I wasn't referring to our marvellous fans, I can assure you. I was referring to our marvellous players.
Yeah, they were, and I was saying just before the show, it's very different. It's a very technical game nowadays, but these guys used to play in mud with with big boots and proper balls, and referees that would just let you get on with it. Yeah.
Yes, you could break a leg a little bit better than you can now.
It's not professionally breaking a leg back then, was it? It was just breaking.
You can hear a nice snap, then, but not so much these days.
I wasn't expecting this, girls and boys. I'll be quite honest with you, but there you go. This is how the show's going to pan out, and I'm loving every minute of it already. Yes, so in that fateful game up at Newcastle, then the replay was at St Andrews. There'd been an issue with the floodlights or something, if I remember right. Can't remember.
I can't remember that, to be honest with you.
Is it not in one of your books?
Hang on a minute. Just switch off a minute.
And yes, but that was my very first game.
I remember a foul there. I think Paul Hendry.
Oh, there's a blast from the past.
Was it? And I think it was the first sort of two-legged feet went round somebody's neck. I think practically he was so far off the ground, and it was just and it was strangely enough, it was on the guy that had broken Tony Mont's.
Strangely enough, that wasn't strange enough, though, was it? It was.
That's ironic.
Coincidence.
But my dad, I remember my dad telling me that he said it might get a bit, naughty.
It was part of the team talk.
Oh, he did. What was it like back in those days for you as players, like sitting in the dressing room and you could hear us outside? We were there 20 minutes before the game, singing our heads off.
Well, I'm going to make a confession here now, and I'm not joking when I say this, but. I used to get so wound up before matches. I really did, and I sort of used to have this sort of, achy pain in my stomach, and it was, it was obviously nerves, and I had to see the club doctor on several occasions because I got really worried about it. I was so tensed up and wanting to do well, and win a match and, put in a good performance. And it sort of got to me a little bit in a lot of my career. And I sort of, when I look back now, I think maybe I could have done a bit better without all this sort of stress sort of situation, So, but I'm sorry to bring this into discussion. You weren't really asking me about that.
You talk about anything.
But I mean, once the match gets started, some of this stuff sort of drifts away from you, and you get.
If it's any comfort to you, there were 40,000 people in the crowd suffering exactly the same thing. Did you ever have the pleasure of going down those toilets at the Tilton Corner?
No, but I heard about it.
Oh my God, what an experience that was! I'll tell you.
Mention the Tilton. I mean, we had to have some, and this gentleman is probably listening in now because I actually saw him at the last home game with his son, but. We had to get some our windows replaced there a few months back now, perhaps. And he sort of was in our house, and he'd spotted some photographs up on our landing, and he said to me, he said, "Did you used to play football?" I said, "Yes, I did." Yeah, he said, "Right." He said, "What's your name?" I said, "No, surely not. No." Anyway, get over that. But He's got a son, and the son's name is...
Malcolm Page.
No. Tilton.
Brilliant.
And I met him at the last home game, and I happened to have 2 spare tickets for one of the players that couldn't come. And so him and his son were there. I got introduced to Tilton. And I said, "I'm sorry they're not on the Tilton, but, he saw the match."
That's really nice.
Which... he perhaps didn't enjoy as much as he should have because it was a 2-0 up at half-time and 2-2.
Yeah, anybody else out there that has named a child or a pet after anything to do with Birmingham City?
Yeah, well...
my cat is called Beau, B-E-A-U,
right.
Beau Brummie.
Oh, right, okay.
After that.
Beau. So it's not spelled B-O-W?
No, B-E-A-U, Beau Brummie.
There's got to be some more out there, hasn't there?
I spray painted a blue the other week. And talking of painting, Sharon was presented with an amazing piece of art over the weekend from Julie Cherry, who is Auntie Linda's sister. And I want to thank Auntie Linda for coming over, and little Jack as well, and staying overnight. And the breakfast the following morning, wow, that was just amazing. And then we took them around town just to show them town. That took about 3.5 minutes. And and then they went their weary way back to Birmingham after a really, really top enjoyable weekend. It was great to have good company and everything there. And I was getting really worried because I didn't know whether Chris was going to turn up. And I'd got on the table like a placard exclusively reserved for Chris Browne of the Tilton Talk Show, and there was a bucket underneath his desk. Thank you very much. There it is, girls and boys.
Yeah, there we go.
Where's my camera? They are. I didn't bring the bucket though because he made a mess in it.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so at work today, I had a young lady in. And as she sat there, she got a Birmingham accent. I said, "Where are you from?" Moseley. Right. I said, "Which side of the city?" She goes, "Like down." I said, "No, you fool." I said, "Which side of the city?" And I pulled my sleeve up. She goes, "Oh, definitely not that one." I said, out. So I'm just asking if you can come and do a deep clean for us tomorrow, Chris.
I'll bring my bucket.
Right, Blackburn. Oh my God, Paul Hipkiss, off you go.
Yeah, one to forget. You just got to hold your hands up sometimes and say they're better than what we were, and they certainly were Blackburn. And I'm thinking to myself during the game and whatnot, that's a prime example of where we want to be. And they've been to worse places than what we have, Blackburn, in recent years. But they've stuck by their manager for 4 years now. And look where they are and look how it's paying them off. He's been loyal to. He's lost a lot of his best players as well, with Armstrong and Harvey Elliott went back to Liverpool from last season. But he's still managed to recruit well, and the board's stuck behind him, and he hasn't been sacked, and he's been there 4 years. And that's a prime example of what can happen when you stick behind your manager. Stick by your manager for a long time, and it pays off, usually. And I think Mowbray's done a great job there. If you remember, they were relegated when we stayed up at Bristol City. When Redknapp kept us up. Blackburn went down under Mowbray, and he brought them back up the next season. And they've sort of been steady in the Championship, a bit like we are now, if you like. And then this season, they've really, really kicked on. And, they're obviously third at the moment in the league and looking like they could be pushing, for a place in the top 2 if they carry on like this. So, and certainly if they carry on playing like that, they could be back in the Premier League. But, I just wanted to say it's a prime example that if we do stick by Bowyer and give him time, because he's still learning as well, he's still a relatively young manager and still learning this league. Who knows where we're going to be in a couple of years, in 2 or 3 years' time from now. If we stick by Lee Bowyer through thick and thin, who knows? That might be us one day in the next few years.
But we have to have that stability, though, Paul. We've got to have that regular stability. People, for me, calling for Lee Bowyer's name now already.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I was just about to say that, Nick. Sorry. There's a predictable outpouring of polls and votes and Bowyer out and all the rest of it. It's just nonsense, I think.
No, the manager's not the problem. In my opinion, he's done a good job, and I've got no relegation concerns, which makes a change. And I just, Blackburn's the prime example of what happens if you can stick by your manager, and there's no reason why in a few years' time from now, 2 or 3 years from now, there's no reason why that can't be us in third in the Championship if we stick by him. And we back him as well, obviously. I don't even think Mowbray, though, has spent that much, has he, at Blackburn?
Not a great deal, I don't think, no. But we're halfway through the season, there or thereabouts, and, we've got 27 points at the moment, so, not all doom and gloom on the playing side. Possibly a little bit questionable on the formation for Saturday.
What's your gut instinct about Lee Bowyer?
Well, I think he's got a lot to learn yet, and I think if he gets the chance, he seems to make some sense when he talks.
He switched on, isn't he?
I think so.
Very honest.
But I'm going on a general basis now. To me, a lot of managers and coaches got caught up in these tactical issues and things like that. I mean, I've been out of the game a long time. I took coaching courses and coaching badges, football management courses after I finished playing football. So you're talking the early 1980s, and my view then was, and that was one of the reasons why I decided to come out of the game really and do something else, because we always seem to be getting pointed to complicated issues and things like that.
4-4-2 back in your day,
exactly.
And it was 4-4-2 every week.
I know you see a coach on the side with subs going on, and he's showing him a bloody computerised, and it's all become a bit too much for me. I'm hoping that Lee will not complicate things too much. I was a bit concerned about his setup for the match.
3-2-5-1 or something. Get back to basics.
And he switched players around to different things. And I think you've got to have defenders. You've got to have good defenders that defend, and people in other positions that do their job well in other positions as well, and not spread them around.
Also, back in the day, you had your 1 to 11, right?
Yeah.
You maintained that number if you played in that position.
Yeah.
Right. You would have unchanged sides going on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and you'd have one substitute on the bench. Not 6 or 7 technical changes, and it's just all gone. It's all gone very Americanised for me, and I can't stand anything Americanised. Yeah. Alan, you got any questions for Malcolm?
I have, yes, but just one thing I'd like to say about Saturday. I was a bit disappointed in the managers announcing about Harley Dean and obviously the news about Riley McGree. As much as my blog pleaded with him to stay, I think that was it depressed me. How do you play in a situation? You've got 2 blokes on the field who aren't going to be there in a fortnight's time, and it all seemed a bit of a down. I mean, I'm praying that we don't play on Boxing Day because Roberts is injured, so Dean will have to play. Now, what kind of?
How's he going to play?
How's he going to? I hope he's a professional man and he goes in there and I'll say, I'll show you. But equally, you could think, well, they're kicking me out the door next week. Why should I bother?
I think
Malcolm, what would your attitude have been if you'd known that information and then known that you're going to be out of the club in a week and they played you?
Well, I think Lee has obviously made a big mistake there in terms of what he's been saying at this time. Anyway, I don't think he should have been saying things like that.
Do you think Harley's been a thorn in his side at all?
Well, I don't know about a thorn in his side, but I mean, obviously he doesn't think he can play. This is where it becomes complicated again for me. You know, certain players get pinpointed out for different mistakes and things like that they've done and stuff. He's obviously put Roberts in, and he thinks he's done a better job there. But I think, you know, from the point of view of political side of it, really, if you like to put it that way, as we've just been said, I think I didn't see the point in him making a statement like that at all.
The big advantage you had back in, I'll call it our day, Malcolm. Back in our day.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
Is that there was one BBC camera there? Yeah.
Yeah.
One commentator.
Right, yeah.
No, you know, great big room full of this, that, and the others to disseminate the game at half time.
No.
And you got the replay, but that was it. You didn't have 40 different angles of it.
I just saw the goals.
It's for me, it's genuinely killing what was a working man's Saturday afternoon game. They were playing every day of the week apart from a Thursday. And it's just, it was Saturday, you know, we were up. Tiswas would be on, straight down the cafe, pint of milk, breakfast, into the pub. I was only on arse because I think I was only 15.
You're a late starter.
Oh, but you know what? Then the train from Leamington Spa, Royal Leamington Spa. Sorry, brother, Royal Leamington Spa. Oh, did you know Big Mick from Royal Leamington Spa? He asked me to ask you yesterday.
No. Just going back again to this issue with, you know, I think he's on allegedly on quite a high salary, I understand, and you know, bringing those things into it again, I don't think is you know, is fair, and things haven't gone right obviously between them and stuff, but I think certainly he made a bit of a mistake in bringing this out now.
It never used to come out, did it? We as fans, we knew nothing about our football club. The internal workings of a football club were top secret. Nothing ever got out.
Well, I think if managers and coaches think that they can, you know, talk away and they're way above the fans and things like that, then I think, you know, the game's finished. To be quite honest with you, I think the coaches and managers have got to try and be on the same basis. And when they give interviews and things to the press and stuff like that, I think they've all right. I was going to say they've got to be honest. But if they feel they're going to be honest, but they think perhaps it might not be best if I do say it, I think they would be better doing that. And that comes with a bit of experience, I think.
I was just about to say that, Malcolm. I think it could be a little bit of naivety with Bowyer.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. I mean, we got Bowyer and Gardner. I mean, the new. Hopefully, they'll learn and they'll get, you know. But and you know, I think they should be given an opportunity really to. But the two of them still come from this. You know, we're talking now about this issue of complications and, you know, playing players in different positions, and a lot of it is because they look at oppositions and they're trying to cater for oppositions when
you should be playing for yourself.
They should be playing for yourself.
Yeah, too right.
I mean, you know, if you want to stop people scoring, why not have 4 great defenders across the back?
Yeah, back to basics.
Look at our defence back in the 70s. They were brick walls.
Yeah,
they were brick walls, and they were double-skinned brick walls as well. Believe me, you know, and they would stop anything.
Yeah, I got caught. I mean, part of my early days at Birmingham was part of this sort of sweeper thing, you know, where we had sort of 4 players, maybe defending and marking players up front, and somebody sweeping behind at the back. A player called Brian Sharples did that role, you know. And a fellow called Joe Mallet, if you remember him, or you might remember the name, he was between sort of Stan Collis starting and Gil Merrick sort of leaving. He came in and he was a good coach, good manager, and he introduced that. And you know, and a lot of teams carried on introducing it, but then it's gone further and further down there. And to be honest with you, I listen to these pundits and people on the television. Well, they may as well be speaking Japanese. For
Absolutely, yeah. And don't forget, ladies and gents, this week we'll all be having the Christmas tree formations. Yeah, it's Christmas, Chris.
It is Christmas.
It's Christmas. Merry Christmas,
well, let's
everybody.
hope we don't complicate the formations too much.
Absolutely.
Malcolm, you are the archetypal expert on changing positions. You played in more positions than that.
You're exactly
so, I
right.
mean, you're the prime man to talk about that, because I mean,
you're going to accuse me of being the problem.
No, not
No, I'm only kidding.
Don't offend the guest, Alan.
When we got a problem, they stuck you in it. But we haven't got a centre half, so Malcolm Page goes in there. Fullback's injured, Malcolm Page goes in there. Midfield, Malcolm Page goes in. I think you wore the number 9 shirt once, didn't you?
Well, I think I did. Yes, you're quite. You know what? I thought about that today actually, and I remember playing up. Was it Sunderland? I think against one of the tall. What was his name now? Must have been one of the tallest centre halves, and they play me 5 foot shite. You know, it's quite incredible, really.
Did you enjoy playing up for it?
No.
You didn't like it?
No. Well, I mean, it wasn't me really. But what I must say is I almost scored a goal. In fact, I did score a goal because Jim Montgomery was in goal at the time against us.
Yeah.
And there was a cross came over, and I went up with Jim and sort of, I couldn't get his eyes in, but I sort of, hit him a bit, and he dropped the ball, and I don't know who it was scored, but I put that down to me.
Well done. There you go.
But quite right about playing all these positions. Yeah, it's and I eventually.
It's not the positions that bother me; it's the formations.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Christmas tree formations, triangular formations.
Yeah.
Get a grip. 4-4-2. Get some blood and thunder back in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can't see if Harley does sort of move on, or even if he's still around and Roberts isn't available for the next game. I think he'll put friend Pedersen and Anderson as a 3, and then put Bella left wing back, won't he?
Possibly.
Yeah. So I don't think Dean will start the next game, even if Roberts is out.
No, I don't think he will. He'll be lucky to get on the bench the way it's going.
But sometimes I think they spend hours and hours sometimes now watching opponents, don't they, on videos and
more time than they do training.
And and then they design a formation. I may be wrong, but which to me isn't.
But there's absolutely nothing to say.
There's nothing positive about it.
That's coming to Birmingham City. We'll play like that when there are hours.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So no, I don't get it. It should be the formation should be the traditional one for me. Anyway.
Yeah, well, we're from the same age. No, you're younger than me.
No, he's a lot older.
Well,
Yeah, if Dean does leave us in January, then I wish him all the best. I think over the 4 years he's been, he has had some good games, hasn't he? I think overall.
Oh yes. The worrying thing is, it looks to me a financial thing again, pretty much as well, because he's on a good salary, I understand, and so that's probably an issue.
I mean, I've said it before, but where we sit, me and my friend Jane, the amount of abuse he's been getting the last few weeks, whether you're his biggest fan or not, he's wearing a blue shirt, and some of the stupid abuse he's been getting really has been daft.
Well, we've all had that at times. I remember going out to the tunnel one match. Went out the tunnel and I was behind Gordon Taylor, I think, because we were running out the tunnel.
Oh, you could see over him then.
Definitely, yeah. And so there was somebody right next to him saying, well, Taylor, why don't you, and I sort of I tapped Gordon on the shoulder and said, And they said, and take fucking Page with you.
Wasn't you, was it, Alan?
No. Again, I knew Gordon Taylor as well from the Red House.
Oh yes, of course you would. Yes, yeah. I've been he'll be on his way down shortly to one of our matches actually, because I was speaking to him last week, and he's quite keen to come down. I mean,
ask him to come and make an appearance on the Monday.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll do that.
Craig Courtney, what a job for you.
And he said he's quite willing. We pay a small fee to a former player to come and just do some corporate stuff at a game, and Gordon very kindly said, "I'll give my fee to charity."
That's all right. We do an amazing amount of work here for charity. Just to let everybody know that I have handed Chris on Saturday night the 1,200 and something, was it, Chris?
Did you?
that I had from myself in the PTSD charity, and thanks again to Craig Courtney for arranging yet another £500 from his work to go into the fund as well. All in all, and when we think back that the last 2 years we've been so restricted on what we could, and certainly what we haven't been able to do so far yet, the response has been absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you, each and every single one of you.
I've also been asked to share, while we're on that subject, can you share anything about the raffle? 50p each, £2 a strip. Let's get it over the £200 mark. That's for the breakfast.
Breakfast of the players.
Can I ask Malcolm? Can I ask Malcolm a question, if you don't mind?
Of course you can. That's what you're here for. That's why you don't get. That's why you don't get paid.
So Malcolm, best player you played with. Best player you played with for Blues, and the best player you've seen play for Blues since you've retired, or since you sort of stopped playing for us.
Just before you do that, tenner's worth of tickets, please.
All right.
There it is.
Well, best player, it should be very easy. I mean, I can say Trevor Francis. He was probably the best player. He made it made such a big difference. But there were lots of other players really that I looked at closely, and hence I've got 11 players here that I would put in as my team, if you like. Yeah. And because I think attitude and how players react to things are as important as somebody that can dribble a ball 20 yards and score a goal, out of the blue. I think attitude and people you can rely on. And if there's one thing I learned about football, was that when we had this successful team during the 70s, we got to know one another. We got to know how each player played. We got to appreciate what they did. And recognise what they couldn't do, and so we then formed that brought us together really as a team. So I knew that so and so wouldn't be wanting to do. Bob Latchford, he wouldn't want to be running all over the bloody place. Somebody else would have to do that for him, but he'd be there and knocking a ball in the back of the net. That was his job. That was the importance he was to the team, and that was the great thing I learned then from that era. Really, was that getting players to appreciate one another. Yeah. Within themselves, not necessarily coming from coaches or managers or whatever, but just reacting together and playing as a team.
And since you stopped playing for us, who would you say is the best player you've seen play for us in that period of time?
Oh God. Well, I can't make the excuse that I haven't been watching them play since I finished playing, because I go to pretty much to every game. But
Gary, Christoph.
Gary. Well, he played 20 odd games, didn't he? Now I look a little bit longer than that. I mean, I know he made a huge impact and things, and people do make huge impacts, don't they? I mean, Zigic and people.
Steve
like
Bruce
that.
certainly did, didn't he, when he came?
Yeah.
Stephen Carr.
Yeah.
Stephen Carr. Great
Yeah. Chat away, lads, and I'll probably it'll probably come back to me. But it's. I tell you, the type of player I like is a busy midfield player, good balance, who can dictate play, and I hate to say Robbie Savage in many ways, but he was influential. There's no doubt about it, and he knows it more than anybody else. He keeps telling me. But people like that, Archie Gamble, those type of players, that can dictate, make a difference. Something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Barry Ferguson.
We got any live questions?
Yeah, Barry Ferguson. Yeah.
I can't see the shout box, Chris. Any chance you could put it on here?
Somebody asked. I can't find the comment now, but I remember the question, and somebody asked a good question earlier about who was the best captain that you ever played under at Blues during the time you was there.
I think it was me, actually. I was captain for a brief.
Correct answer.
I was captain for a brief time. Would you believe? And it was just before Jim Smith signed Archie Gamble, and it was plainly Archie Gamble was going to be coming in as captain. And so the first game we played, I think. We used to share rooms then when we used to go to away matches and share a room. So who did Jim Smith put me in with? But Archie Gamble, and it was a bit awkward really because Archie was he hadn't been announced as manager, but as captain, but he was plainly going to be. So it was a bit awkward really. I turned my back on him in the double bed. I don't get it. Okay.
Was you on the left or the right?
He was left-footed, wasn't he?
Oh dear. Yeah. Steve Portman, sorry we didn't make your party Saturday, Nick. I understand and I get the reasons why a lot of people, as I say, didn't come with what's going on out there at the moment, and it is always difficult at this time of the year. I know that, and no, it's a good night. Just a few drinks with friends and family. My lad come up from Paul in Dorset. Big Mick, from Royal Leamington Spa. He said,
Big Mick
from Royal Leamington Spa. He was joking.
I do know a Big Mick, but I don't know it's the same Big Mick.
Yeah. and like I said earlier, I bet you all come to my funeral.
It's great comment. Don Kavanagh, fond memories of Malcolm Page, a gent on the pitch, but put in a shift. A gent on the pitch, but put in a shift each match. My first season watching Blues, age 7 in 1974.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Nice comment by Adam Walsh as well. NHS should be on Dean's wages. Yeah, I like that.
No wonder you like that, Mark.
Yeah, I work in the NHS, so yeah.
Malcolm, can I remind you of a match? We're talking about tactics and people playing in different positions, and obviously the semi-final in '68, Stan Collis pulled what he hoped would be a masterstroke, and he had who'd been sort of a reputation as a defender, plus Colin Green in midfield, and he left Johnny Vincent, who was a midfield player, on the bench. To be fair, it almost worked. I mean, we should have won that game. I mean, the chances we missed, etc., and John Osborne had a miracle game. What's your memory of that? I mean, you were involved because you were part of this tactical. We got the impression it was trying to stop Bobby Hope, basically. Was that your recollection?
Yeah, well, I think it was to stop Bomber Browne, really, as well, wasn't it?
Bomber Browne, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know what to say really about that. You could bring up the same issue when we played Fulham as well. I think there was issues about. So supposedly had a bit of a run around, and Jimmy Calderwood, I think, was left out. I think Freddie Goodwin brought me in because he thought I was a better defender overall. But I think that's right. But again, I'll go down the same route as I've said before, and. I shouldn't be in many ways because it helped me, in being, as you've said, being able to play in different positions and things like that. I could give my best in lots of positions, which was very helpful to a manager or a coach. But obviously sometimes it didn't pay off, and I think you're quite right to mention that, actually. I think because that could have been one of the reasons why we didn't, although we had Freddie Pickering had a great game, I think, didn't he? And we could have scored more goals, but it's not really answered your question, I think, has it? But I think you're right, and probably a manager's mistake again.
Yeah.
Ray's also said sorry we couldn't make it. Nick, totally understand Ray, and sincerest condolences from us here at the Tilton Talk team. And Linda Ensor has also written sincerest condolences to Ray and Christina and family who lost a parent over the last few days. Our thoughts are with you guys.
Very sorry.
Who was a Stoke fan, and did he eat any of the cake? The cake hasn't been cut. I wouldn't give that to a Stoke fan. Good God, they have chips. That's what they're getting.
Okay.
And that was Sharon's eldest son, by the way. That I managed to capture him staring and admiring a Birmingham City cake.
Good.
Good lad.
Great question from Michael Woods. What was Malcolm's favourite away grounds player?
Well, I think, strangely enough, in the 70s, it was surprisingly...
Don't say the words.
Don't say it, man.
Don't say the words.
Okay.
We know where you're coming from, pal.
Middlesbrough.
No, what made that ground be your favourite? Would it be the atmosphere, obviously?
Middlesbrough, no, it was
Middlesbrough.
The playing surface.
Right, okay.
And we were told at the time that the reason was because the ground staff fed it with sort of fishy materials that they picked up from the local some sort. But it was always a beautiful surface, far better than any of these big teams and things like that. And it was a lovely surface to play on. So we had that one opportunity once a year.
Sometimes it was a mud pit before you got on it.
Back in them days, what was the banter like in the dressing room, and any good pranks or any funny stories you can tell us?
Am I allowed to? I'm not allowed to swear, am I?
Preferably not. We don't have small children watching.
In that case, no, there's no story.
I'm going to buy him a bleep box after the New Year, so that.
Oh gosh, funny stories. Yeah. Let me just check in my book.
Yourself?
Can I? You don't mind me?
Not at all. No.
I've jotted a few down just to save me.
Craig Courtney, make sure you put me 5 tickets in, please. As I'm just giving Mrs. Browne 10 quid.
Tilton.
Could you pass that through the window for us, Malcolm?
Okay.
You're very kind, man. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Marvellous.
So just talk amongst yourselves, lads, for a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Fulham up next, then, guys. Paul, what's your thoughts on Fulham?
Fulham away.
Yeah.
Blimey.
They're flying at the minute, aren't they?
The one down at home to Sheffield United as we speak. But I'm going to go 2-0 Fulham.
Yeah, I'll go 3-0.
I'm going to say a shock draw. 1-1. I don't know why. Whether it's Christmas.
I can never back us to lose. It's hard, isn't it?
It's hard, yeah.
You've got to be realistic, ain't you?
Yeah. Oh, well, then we'll win 2-1.
As I said, I'm hoping for a postponement. But don't forget, they beat Blackburn 7-0.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. Is Sanderson going back in January as well?
Well, apparently he's got... Has he, what about the African nations? He's got to cover that Wolves are losing a load of centre-backs for the African nations.
Is that right?
That's what...
They're all Portuguese, ain't they, Mark? Wolves players.
That's near Africa.
Are they losing that Bowley, are they? Is he going?
I think, yeah, he's one who's going.
Is he one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alan, what's your predictions for the Fulham game?
A defeat.
That's all you're going to write. Defeat.
I dread to think.
Chris Browne?
I really am.
Chris?
You know,
I can't.
Have you got a microphone?
I have got a mic. Can you not hear me?
No.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, I can't. I can't see a win either. So I'm going for a stonking, probably 3-0 loss.
We haven't done too bad there, though, have we, in recent years? I mean...
It's only a few years ago. We were 5-2, didn't we?
Yeah, and we've lost every game since.
Merry Christmas, Alan.
We've lost every game since.
It'd be typical of Blues to turn it round and just, beat them, though, wouldn't it? Oh well, time will tell. We'll have to wait and see on that one. You got it, Malcolm?
Well, I've got one here.
Here we go
Yeah, the day I remember well the day Jim Smith arrived at the club. He was introduced to all the players in the dressing room, and I think it was Keith Coombs. I think came into the dressing room, made a bit of a speech. We all sort of fell asleep almost, and then eventually he introduced Jim Smith, and the first words Jim ever uttered to the players was, And then Coombs walked out and left Jim to talk to us, and basically Jim said, right, now he's out of the effing place, we're going to get on and do the job, as it were. Anyway, that afternoon, all the players were back, and we had a practice match on St Andrews, first team against the sort of reserves, as it were. And I'd been left out of the... Sir Alf had left me out in the last match that he had. Yeah. And it was the only time I've ever been substituted. And he took me off in that match. And so I didn't finish the game, that last game. And so Jim watched the first half of the game, and I was playing in the reserves. And at half-time, the only thing he did was to put me back in the first team. And we played the second half. And I was remembered that as, being very proud of that, his first decision at the club, and stuff. And anyway, some years later, I met him at a funeral, I think it was, and we were chatting away. I said, Jim, do you remember when you first arrived at the club? I said, the first decision you ever made. Can you remember what it was? And he said, oh no, not really. He said, I can't really remember. And I said, well, it was, you put on a practice match. And I said, the first decision you ever made was to put me back into the first team. And he said, oh, that was the first bloody mistake I made.
Yeah. Oh dear. I can only imagine that dressing rooms are so much more different nowadays than back then.
Well, I don't know. Well, yeah, but... Well, yes. I mean, there's more of a mix of, different colours and
cultures.
People now playing in the game. Yeah, it must be. Yeah, different
dynamics.
Different, completely. Yeah. I mean, I look at our, and it's. I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I look at our programme now, and we've got this team from 50 years ago. Yeah. White. And now, hasn't times changed for the better? Yeah. I mean, some of these players are superbly gifted, and if they're superbly gifted, put them in the first team. Exactly.
But on the same hand, it doesn't have to be a complaint because there's not enough black managers or anything. If you couldn't afford it, do the job.
Exactly.
Do the job.
Exactly.
I've had a black surgeon operate on my body. I was really happy. And he did a good job. Well,
was he going to finish it?
It wasn't nothing to do with my face, though, Chris.
I got a question from Craig here. He says, how does Malcolm feel a team he played in could fare against today's team? That's a hard one.
I think it's an easy one.
No, it isn't actually. It's quite simple. I think it'd be a draw.
Really?
11 players in hospital for them.
No, be a draw.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be a draw, would be a fair result. Mind you, all our players would be in the 70s and 80s age group.
But it'd still be a draw.
It'd still be a draw.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Oh, blimey.
Were you ever one for keeping sort of memorabilia from your playing days, Malcolm? Do you ever keep any shirts or programmes? Or?
I've got one shirt left. I've given a lot to charity, to be honest with you, and stuff. I used to swap a few shirts, so I had a few proper players' shirts. Nobody wanted mine. But I've got Tilton's father spotted on the landing. We've got a framed thing where I've got my first schoolboy cap, under 23 cap, and first. Full cap. Excellent. So that's all in a nice cabinet on the landing.
Nice. Very nice.
So that
must have been a very very proud moment to play for your country.
Oh, indeed, yes. And, there's a lot of hullabaloo with Wales, and singing and all that sort of stuff.
Who's your international debut against?
Finland away.
Okay. What's the score?
1-0 to Wales. Yeah, so, it was nice. And there was a good guy managing the team called Mike Smith, passed on now and stuff. But he was a good manager, a good international manager, like the England manager is now, I think. He's, and it's not easy when you get players coming in, you've only got certain days to sort things out and get things right before matches and stuff. It's not an easy way to have to manage. So,
do you think we should bring back the home internationals?
Well, I used to enjoy those. Yes, I must admit. But I think
I went to a few.
You might get a bit tired of them now. Well, there's so many internationals now. I mean, I got 28 caps in it. It took about 10 years to. But now in 10 years you could get about 50 caps now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have San Marino and all that lot now.
Well, yeah.
They just give them away, don't they? Really. Yeah.
Don't be telling
Do you think? But do you think you should only get a cap if you play a full international game with a purpose, not a friendly?
Well, we were actually Wales. I think Wales and Northern Ireland. When I was playing in the 70s, anyway, international wise, we only used to get one cap per season.
Oh right, okay.
But England and Scotland, I think, had a cap every match. So when I say I got 28 caps, I haven't got 28 caps because I only had about, I don't know, 6 or 7, 8 caps maybe perhaps in total because there was only one a season.
Couldn't afford them back then, could they?
No.
Well, giving another hat away, that's a fiver.
Malcolm, what was the highlight of your Welsh career?
Well, I think nearly getting into the European Championships in, I don't know what year it was now.
76?
Yeah, 76. We had a playoff sort of situation with Yugoslavia at Cardiff, and there was a dubious penalty given. I knew it wasn't a penalty because I was involved with the tackle. And then afterwards there was an issue in relation to, there was an East German referee who was accused then of having taken bribes and stuff. But it was never proven, or the result wasn't changed in any way. But that was sort of. But every time, you can well imagine a Welshman standing for the Welsh national anthem before a game. That meant a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, question from Stephen Gill. Ask Malcolm what the best piece of advice you ever got was.
Well, I know there's a best advice, but it was the earliest bit of advice I ever got, and I think it was on the day I made my debut at Everton, 1965, and we got a draw 1-1. A fella called Ronnie Fenton, who was playing for us up front, he scored the equaliser, and we after the match we were all in. We used to have a big bath in those days. Everybody's sort of in a big bath, sitting together and all this sort of. And I remember Stan Lynn saying, because it was just after the Sunday People, I think, had started giving marks out of 10 for players. And I sort of was quite excited about the fact that I did all right and we got a draw away at Everton. I thought, bloody hell, and I said to Stan, God, I can't wait to see how many points I get in the Sunday People tomorrow. And he said, no, not interested in that sort of thing at all. He said, and you shouldn't be either. He said, just make sure that the lads that you're playing with respect you and happy with you. And the same with the manager and the coach. That's the people you've got to make sure that you're happy with.
Did you have a look at them?
What?
The points.
Oh, of course I did.
Quality. The best advice I got, and I didn't take it.
But I can't remember what they were. But I'm not telling you.
Dear, is Gareth Bale the best Welshman?
Well,
Adam Walsh.
well, there's no doubt he's influential, isn't he?
Yeah, very much so.
I rather look at him and think, but there again, you see, I mentioned Bob Latchford earlier on, you know, and I'm sure if I was playing in the same team as Bale, I would appreciate what he does to the team. Looking from afar, he appears to me a little bit lazy at times, and you know,
he's not going on a bit.
I feel as if he should have perhaps done a bit more, you know. But he's got bags of talent, doesn't he?
Have you met him, Malcolm?
No.
Do you go to many of the Welsh internationals?
That's another. I found out about 5 years ago, I suppose. No, was it 5 years ago? Maybe 7 years ago. Somebody asked me, do you go and watch any of the Welsh games? No, not really, no. And he said, why not? I said, well, I don't know. I said, I just buying tickets and all this sort of thing. He said, did you not know that once you play for your country that you were able and liable to get 2 free tickets for any Welsh game?
So you missed
the future.
Brilliant.
Nobody ever told me.
A question from Ray Hobro for Malcolm. What make of boots did you wear back then?
Well, we used to the club used to give us a chit to go to a shop in Birmingham, and I know the man that used to own the shop, I think, had Villa connections.
Said the word.
Sorry, but anyway, so we used to go and get a chit, and invariably you'd go in and then you got Adidas boots, and so Adidas boots it was. But when I started playing for Wales, Wales had a contract with a company called Gola.
Right, yeah, I remember them.
And and so I thought, well, what's going to happen now? My boots are Adidas boots, and I can't. When I go to the Welsh team 2 or 3 days before, and they're going to give me these Gola boots, and I played in them or whatever. Oh, that was all right. There used to be a man from Gola who used to arrive before the match with yellow paint, and he used to just put these over these Adidas boots, and we used to go out and play.
Whose boots did you have to clean?
Oh, well, I don't know. Everybody's, I suppose, that was there at the time. I would imagine. You
weren't like just dedicated one player and you got to keep his boots.
No,
right?
No. But
that's another practice that doesn't happen nowadays.
No, it doesn't.
You had to get social services involved, wouldn't they? To clean somebody else's shoes.
The other thing I remember was, apparently I've only played at Birmingham for 17 years, which isn't true. I've actually played for Birmingham for 19 years because they don't seem to count your apprenticeship.
Right.
You're an apprentice professional. I left home at 15. Came to the club in Diggs in Sheldon. Braes Road, B28, and so yeah, and what we were talking about now, I've just
Gola boots.
No. After that, we were talking about what was it? We were talking.
Ask me to remember. We got no chance, pal.
What boots you wore back then? Yeah.
Boots, no.
The man from Gola painting the boots.
Oh no, we were talking about the in the boot room, weren't we?
In the boot room, yeah.
Yeah, we used to have quite a few battles in the boot room, really, and I've seen fists flying in the boot room, even as well from people, you know, who got.
I want to clean his boots.
Uptight, things like that. Yeah.
Question coming from Lee Malin. We nearly crashed into Trevor Francis during his driving his white Jaguar XJS, who had just been to visit Malcolm at his home in Alton when I was little. We were on our way to drop my sister off at a friend's house, and we lived in the house on the end, a couple away from Malcolm's house. Ironic that I now live in the Violets record appearance holder. That I now live in the Violets record. I don't get that bit. Charlie Aitken's old house around the corner now. Had to have the place exercised.
Malcolm, I lived in Braes Road.
Did you?
I did, yes. The other side of the island, down the hill. The other side
down
of
the hill. I was number
And
42.
your house, Gil Merrick lived in it, Stanley lived in it, and then you turned up.
Yeah. Well,
That's a good bit of information.
Yeah, well, I know they lived close to it, but I think I arrived there. There was a lad at the club called Billy Atkinson. He never ever made a first team appearance or anything like that. We lived at number 42, and I was there about 12 years in digs there with Mr. and Mrs. Herbert, and don't touch the dog Bryn.
Oh, really? Really?
She was a vicious dog. And I used to eventually, because if we were watching television in the evenings, and he'd come and he'd just sit by your foot, and if you moved your foot, he'd have it. He'd have it in his mouth. So I eventually ended up having to bring football boots, because they were more firmer and harder boots in those days. So I used to bring some of those back and put them on my foot, so that when he had to go at me.
Stephen Oakley wants to know, did Kenny Burns share the proceeds with the team when he won and sold the TR7 against Leicester?
No.
No.
No, he did, yes, because the car was sold and it was split.
Right.
Yeah.
Should we do the
It's the only decent thing he ever did.
Oh, he did show me his international caps one night and all his Birmingham City stuff.
He's some character, I'll tell you, Kenny.
I was with him a few weeks ago, to be fair.
Yeah. He's some character. We have a big chat about money issues and things. When he wants to come along to get some money, he won't. Check? What's a check? Well, a bloody check.
Allegedly.
Paul, should we get on to the who? Do you want to explain to Malcolm?
Yes. What do you want to do first? I can't hear you very well, Chris. Sorry.
Sorry. Do you want to explain to Malcolm about the who?
Yeah. Do you want to do that first?
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So what we do now, Malcolm, is we play a clip of a player from back in your time speaking for 15 seconds. We want to see if you can guess who it is, and if you think you know who it is, tell us the first letter of his surname, and we'll see if any of our viewers can get it.
So this is a Birmingham City player, to clarify.
I'll definitely know who it is, but whether I'll remember his name or not.
Okay.
So it's a former player that played with you, and he's going to be speaking for 15 seconds, and we want to see if you can get who it is.
Here we go.
Especially here at home in front of 77,000 people, it's a disappointment to lose. But I think most people would say that it was a decent performance from the players, fully committed, and a disciplined performance.
Irish, by the sound of that.
No, he's definitely Welsh. Definitely Welsh. Don Givens.
Yeah.
Correct.
Bang on.
Don Givens.
Spot on.
Right. Well done.
I had a Christmas card from Don this morning.
Very, very, very few people get those.
I don't think anybody's
No,
got
no,
the first guess.
No.
I thought he was Irish.
He sounded Irish.
Sorry, yeah, he's Irish. Yeah, Dublin. He's a Dublin man. Dublin man.
Okay, so the FA have confirmed that FA Cup replays have been removed in both the third and fourth rounds of this season's competition due to COVID. Sensible decision, in my opinion. Really, I don't think we should do replays. Well, not with the ticky-tacky footballers nowadays. You know what I mean? They might get hurt, pull a muscle or something.
They haven't got big enough squad.
Yeah.
No, we're playing the stewards.
Yeah. Can we scroll, Chris, if you wouldn't mind?
Yeah, Malcolm, do you want to go through your team as well, please?
All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You got a manager and captain as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I've got a fella called Mike Kelly in goal. Now, you might think they're a little surprised because there's been some great goalkeepers since.
Yeah.
A lot of goalkeepers. But again, I go just back to to the things that he gave, really, which was marvellous in terms of helping other players out, giving them advice, giving them help. Hence the fact that he went on to become a coach. He got involved with England team, and he's still now even scouting for Rangers, I think, in Scotland. But he was so into helping players, you know, that he was so helpful in advice and stuff. And it's important as a goalkeeper, and I thought, you know, he would be the goalkeeper. Then I got a back four of Dave Langan, Roger Hind, Kenny Burns and Tony Want.
Solid.
Who I think were all good defenders. Dave Langan was good at going forward as well. But I'd have Colin Todd just sort of playing in front of them, really. Because he was such a terrific player, and he was good at, you know, reading the game and things like that. So he'd sort of play in front of them. On either side of him, Howard Kendall and Alan Campbell.
Blimey.
And then I got Bob Latchford, Jeff Bowden and Trevor Francis up front. But Trevor play where he thinks he would be either left or right. He would fiddle around a little bit. So you could say I'm eating my words a little bit from early, but that's as far as I would have ever gone on terms of. But you're back four strong with Todd.
Technical, more technical.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it? Sorry, Paul.
Captain Howard Kendall,
Manager.
Manager.
Freddie Goodwin.
Freddie Goodwin. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was
I've
it?
heard all of them players that you said, and I've heard a lot about each one of them. And you know, I'm sure that anyone that was around in that era, obviously Alan, great.
Yeah,
great.
You're the Red House man, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm the Red House man.
You're
Yeah,
the Red House man.
I'm a similar age to yourself.
Alan Campbell to me was one of the great players that played for this club for me. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
He enjoyed himself, but my God, he bloody worked in training, and you know, got a great attitude. And he was every time I see old sort of films of things of us team playing, he's always involved.
Was it a tough decision, that team? Any players you have to eliminate?
Well, was it tough? I'll tell you. Yeah, it was impossibly tough, because I could name 5, 6, 7 other teams really out of all the players that I've played with.
Yeah.
That you know,
that you
could have picked.
Yeah.
God, honestly, yeah. And myself would have come in about the 21st.
Bob Hatton's the one in my mind. I've heard a lot about Bob.
Well, you see, Bob Hatton, you'll see here. You can't see, can you? But I've written it down here. I crossed out Bob Hatton and put Jeff Bowden in. I don't know why at the last minute, but that's what I did. And it's there.
Jeff Bowden was a very much a hung song, a song. You know what I mean?
A Hong Song hero.
And he got a lot of important goals.
I thought he was going to say something else.
Hong Song hero.
Hong Song hero. That's going to be the new phrase for 2022.
He scored
We're going to have a Hong Song hero.
Scored a lot of
every week.
goals. Scored a lot of goals.
Did you play in the Blues game when they had the Tilton and they had all them pink and blue balloons and was patting them all on the pitch when you walked out? Oh my God!
Yes.
We humiliated. That was my first ever local derby. My first first local derby. And they'd been given the whole of the Tilton, and pretty much everybody that turned up there either had a pink balloon or a blue balloon. How did they coordinate that with social media? They must have just been given away outside the ground, weren't they, like bed sheets?
I have to say, after my debut on the day after my 80th birthday, guess who the next bloody match was against?
Oh, well, them lot, was it? Yeah.
And I
think we won that one 3-2, if I remember right.
I didn't. No, we lost 1-0.
Well, not the one with the balloons, we didn't.
No, but this one I'm talking about.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I because of my issue with sort of getting a bit uptight and thing, I used to hate those bloody matches. To be honest, it was just too much for me almost.
You couldn't enjoy them.
No, I couldn't.
It's bad enough as a fan.
That was the first time. You know when your dad says, "Oh, you can lift your feet up when you're walking out and get carried out." That was the first time I ever did it at that game, going out that little square block at the back. God, the health and safety get closed down in 2 minutes, wouldn't it? Now,
yeah.
Dear me,
it would.
Days, memories.
You've got 5 minutes left to get your tickets in. 5 minutes and counting.
Can Craig Courtney give us an update as to how many we've got, how many were sold?
Malcolm, I think you're far too modest. I think you would have got in a better side than the 21st best side, and I think you were. I mean, I can remember us being in the first division and getting relegated. Then it was in the wilderness, and you were part of the team that brought us back. We were back as a first division club, a proper first division club with proper first division players, and you were part of that, mate. And I say you're too modest. You were a big part of that.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for saying that. Yes, we did come back, and I feel proud of that sort of time. And it was that was when I was saying, when I first realised that recognising each person's value and appreciating it and knowing what they can do and what they can't do, even just brought us all together, I think. And
at what point in your life did you lose the trademark moustache?
I don't know.
That's just how I used to recognise.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't have it for very long. I didn't think. No, I didn't think. I didn't think. Yeah. I didn't have that.
Did you borrow it from Gary Pendry?
Yeah, Gary was on a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I was with Gary on Saturday at the match. We went over to when they all came up all the lads came up the country road there with their banners and stuff.
Incredible. Yeah. And also I must say thank you to the people that turned up for the candlelit vigil for Little Arthur as well last week, and the organisers. Yeah. Well done to you all. Difficult for me living so far away to get to these events, but it's always nice to see that we are an incredibly respectful club when it comes to it.
Okay. 285 tickets sold.
Wow. 285 tickets at £2 each.
Actually, Chris, I can just see a little Christmas hat behind you. Are you going to wear it?
I will, but it's not worth it because I haven't got a camera on me. So all the cameras are on the stars.
Do it instead, Mark.
Hey?
You do it instead.
Look like a little elf.
That is an incredible £570. Well done, everybody. Thank you so much. We might get a little bit more. It's 2 minutes left, guys. 2 minutes. Fantastic. 2 minutes to last. 15 minutes of the show. We all know what that means, don't we? And it's not going to be such a festive one this year. It's just going to be just normal. I haven't really had time to think much this week, to be perfectly honest. I was party planning all week. Yes, I'm going to hit the big 60 on Christmas Day. I've never mentioned it before.
On Christmas Day?
Yeah, Christmas Day, baby.
He's got a Santa baby routine lined up just for the special guest.
Dear.
I don't know whether I was surprised at being on Christmas Day or because I thought you looked a lot older.
It was a bit mixed actually, to be honest with you. No, I always joke about it. I'm having fun, but yeah. Right, okay. So we are a minute away from slicing off the ticket sales. If your clock's right, no, your clock is wrong, Chris. It's now 20:45. 20:45. The breakfast tickets are now closed. Craig Courtney, do your business, and before the end of the show. Is it before the end of the show we'll announce it, Chris?
I think it is,
yeah. So before the end of the show we'll make an announcement as to who the lucky two people are who are going to get the tickets for the breakfast. And who's the breakfast with again?
It's with the
whole squad.
It's with the squad.
With the whole squad.
Yeah, at the end of the season.
Is that before the match?
I don't know.
Oh, right.
I don't normally eat breakfast. You see, I had one on Sunday because Auntie Linda came over. And I've never seen a woman eat so much, Chris. It was. I know we took a photo of Jack eating his, but it was quite horrifying the amount that Linda was stuck in down her. And I'm sure she rooted round the bin after for my scraps.
I know, she was looking in my bucket.
Nick, did you get something for the last 15?
I beg your pardon, sorry.
Sorry, did you have something for the last 15, or do you need my help?
Yeah, no, I've got it. No, I've got it. I've got it. Yeah. We're going to do it right now, ladies and gentlemen. And because I slaughtered a lamb this week, a pig, I mean. Slaughtered a pig this week. Anything in a butcher shop. Anything you'll find in a butcher shop, anything to do with football. 15 minutes, make me laugh, go. This is the most active part of the show. There's no prize involved. It's just hilarious. Some of the things that these people will come out with, Malcolm, in a few minutes.
Okay.
Will have you roaring. Anything you'll find in a butcher's shop.
Malcolm, did you think about your favourite player since you stopped playing for us? That you've seen play for us since you finished?
Oh God, I thought you'd forgotten. I thought you'd forgotten that. No.
No, leave that one.
I must say though, I mean, I've been out there on the pitch.
Sorry.
Been out there on the pitch and
Polo one chop.
and played football for a number of years. But I'm back now with you fans, to be honest with you, and I've been ever since. So I've done the both really, and I'm a fan now.
Yeah.
And I go down there, and I like them to play well, but I'll be there the following game because I like going down there and I like meeting my mates. And I'm a fan. I'm a Tilton.
It's like a bit of home, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Like a bit of home. Yeah. Right, so we've got Terry Butcher, of course. We knew that one come out. Paolo One Chop, which is absolutely brilliant. Michael Chop for Terry Butcher once again. Oh, come on, you can do better than this. You can do better than this. Make me laugh.
What about Andy Legg?
Andy Legg. Andy Legg alum. Chicken doy. Hey! Chicken doy. Liverpool. I like that one. Yeah.
What about Paul Mintz?
Paul Mintz.
What about
Jeff Horsemeat? Oh my God, where did you get that one from? Jeff Horsemeat.
What about Beef Fahy?
Yeah, we'll have that one.
Beef Fahy.
Joe Lamb's Heart, Pat Butcher. I think that's more EastEnders, to be honest with you, Trevor. Robbie Sausage, Marizarati. Marizarati, I like that one. That's quite a good one. I've never. Oh, it's a bone marrow. Yeah, I've got it. It's all right. I was thinking of the large green ones you get from Tesco's.
Robbie Sausage?
No black pudding. No black pudding. Patrick Burger.
Malcolm, I guess from what you were saying, you enjoyed players like Savage, Damian Johnson, Devlin, these players who covered every blade of grass. Run through a brick wall for the team. Granger.
Yeah. I don't know about Savage so much. If he'd have been a little bit of a loyal person, I don't think.
He admitted that to us. Yeah, he's admitted that to us on the show.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know. I've not met him, but I guess he's built himself a great career, hasn't he? I mean, and he's involved. Yeah. He's involved with Macclesfield now, isn't he? And stuff. So.
Yeah.
Joe Donohoe says, thanks for the show, Blues Brothers. Loved it as always. Malcolm Page, a Welsh gent and part of an era that was amazing for us older Blues fans. Keep right on. He is so true. Troy Beefney. Troy Beefney.
So looking to the new year then, Malcolm, what are your hopes for Blues for the new year?
Well, I just hope we can get a settled down thing, and getting team, I can't see it possibly not happening because, our owners are so distant, aren't they? Really, and what the situation is. It looks as if we can only get free players, and it's not easy. No. It's such a high standard of football, and you can easily be misled with all this stuff that's going on, mumbo jumbo regarding where you play, how you play, and formations and things. So there's a lot to get right, but I think simplifying things would be a little bit helpful.
Yeah. We've got Mince Overton, Dennis Beecamp, Halcombe Page, Gary Giblett.
I like Pete Taylor's idea. That was brilliant. Maro Zarate.
Maro Zarate, yeah.
What Peter Lovenshanks?
Marcus Rashford. We've got Marcus Rashford just come in from Linda.
Rashford, yeah.
Marcus Rashford. Lincoln sausages. Oh,
yeah, that's a good one.
I'll have that one. Come on, people, you can think better and quicker than this. Blimey, this normally flies off the wall. Nicola Brock Madcow. Right, okay.
Mr. Courtney.
Oh yeah, sorry, we're about to have Mr. Courtney.
So after football, then Malcolm, what did you do? What did you get involved in?
I went into the financial services area, and that
you're not going to say you're a taxman, are you?
No.
No, he's not going to say he is, but he's not going to say it.
They were expecting me to sell stuff, but
right, okay.
I never. I more enjoyed just talking to people, to be honest with you, and that's where I learned a lot about talking to people and stuff like that. But then after I did about 10 years in that, and then I went into the construction field, and I was working with National Grid and stuff like that, and enjoyed that. And so, but all the time just following Birmingham. So, I mean, I couldn't be more of a truer Birmingham fan than.
How did you become
anybody.
a Birmingham City fan? What was your story? Because we've all got one.
I think it was when I saw this. I wanted to be a goalkeeper when I was very young, and I saw this. I went to my auntie's in Mid Wales, and they'd got a black and white 14-inch Bush television, and I saw this tall, good-looking goalkeeper with a stash on, and he's called Gil Merrick, and I think it was the 1956 Cup final. And I watched them, and I wanted to be a goalkeeper, and what I did, we lived in about a 300-year-old cottage on an estate in, when I say estate, an old country estate.
Yeah.
My mother was a housekeeper for a lady there, and we had this, and the one end of the house was all stone, big stone chimney, and there was a lean-to corrugated roof place. And I used to throw a tennis ball up against this chimney, bounce onto this corrugated roof, and I didn't know which way the ball was going. It was only a tennis ball, where it was going to bounce. So it enabled me to, react quickly, and stuff. I spent 2 or 3 years doing that, making saves and things like that, because of Gil Merrick. And the next time I saw him was when I was playing for my school, and him and a fella called Don Dorman arrived at the school to watch me play. Can you believe that? The manager and the sort of head coach. And when I came to Birmingham, they took me all around all over the place. I didn't get treated any different than anybody else, but that was the job that they did there.
Yeah.
Right, where's the comments over, Chris? I'll give you the last few before we wrap the show up, ladies
I'll
and
keep
gents.
quiet now.
Can I just bring Craig Courtney in, because he's going to tell us exactly what's going on in Tilton Talk, because we don't know.
We don't know. We've never professed to know.
Yeah.
And Craig, are our people still talking to their people?
Craig, over to you.
You're Craig.
Over to you, Craig. Is he frozen?
We are. We are still talking to people.
Good, excellent, wonderful. Keep it up, my friend. This is the man who does all the organising to get all the guests on the show. Incredible. He does an amazing job for us. Thanks, Craig.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant Craig Gardner.
Okay, Craig's frozen at the moment. Perhaps could we get him on a phone line, Chris? Maybe. Yeah? We'll try that. And could you flick over the comments for me now, please? Thank you so much. Doobie-doobie-doo. Let's have a look. Zigs and blankets. We've got zigs and blankets.
Car around just round the corner of the road, TF and BCFC. Have you ever seen that car?
No.
He's only round the corner in this
He's not far away.
phone number. Yeah.
I got mine for my birthday this year.
TF, BCFC.
Mine's N888KRO.
Yeah, you said, yeah.
Can't be bad. Looking forward to driving it.
Craig, you're back.
Are we going to try
I
Craig? There we go.
Unstable internet connection, so apologies all, but
Unstable Craig Courtney.
Unstable man.
Easy.
Brutal.
Sorry, Craig, I'm only
I should say
joking.
thank you, Malcolm, as well for coming on, because I know
Pleasure.
you've got a lot of things on at the moment, and especially as we come to the festive season. So massive thank you from me.
Pleasure.
And from me.
And from us.
Yeah.
And from them.
Give us the lowdown.
I can do the draw. So we've had 285 tickets, as Chris mentioned. So in total of all of those, it's actually, Nick, rather than the 570, it was £2 a strip. So we're actually about £190.
Yeah.
But as I hit the button for the random number to be selected, I can confirm it is number 142. And Nick, I don't know how to say this. It has been won by Pat Spall. Pat Spall has won the breakfast for two.
She's won before.
She didn't even bother turning up to my party. God blimey.
Time she's won something.
It's not my fault. It's that poxy random selector you got. No, we're talking about you, Craig, not the piece of equipment in your hand.
That's it. Yeah.
I am.
Okay, thanks ever so much for that. Yotta pork pie. No, it doesn't do it. That one doesn't do it for me. Any news on Jake Bidwell? Anybody?
I haven't heard anything.
No, nor have I. We had zigs in blankets, poor mould on scratchings. Yeah, I like that one.
One from Heather.
One from Heather Browne. He delivered a cheque to my house years ago and spent ages talking to my dad, who was Welsh. Really nice man. See, you've got memories all over the place.
There he was. That was him.
Great stuff. Love it. Well, we're almost there, girls and boys. And this will be the final show of 2021, once again heavily affected by COVID. But we'll battle on. You know why? Because we're Birmingham City, and we will journey on, and we will keep right on to the end of the road. We've got Steer John, Jude Belly Draft. Okay, Paul, I think you're the one to pick the favourite for the end of the year, mate.
So what, sorry?
I think you're the one to pick your favourite one for this one. Roger Hind of beef. I like that one.
That's a good one.
I like Marrow Zarate. I thought that was...
Marrow Zarate.
We've got Dealey had a pork shoulder just come in. That's clever. Steve Job, again. He does it every week. Stephen Gill, thanks for the laughs. Chris, Nick, Paul, and the rest of the team, of course, because without everybody we couldn't do this. We just couldn't do this. And without the guests we couldn't do it. And without you people, we couldn't do it. It has been a torrid 2021 again. Will next year get any better? We don't know, because we can't see into the future. That's the absolute truth of it. But from us, each and every single one of us now are going to give you a final statement of the year, starting with Alan, putting you right on the spot. You've got to ad-lib this one.
Let's hope that 2022 is better. We come out of the dark ages that we're living in, both nationally and, let's be honest, our football club is still struggling, and let's hope that we can break through and start moving positively forward. And Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all the gang here, all the watchers, and everybody who frequents the Palace of Dreams, St Andrew.
Craig Courtney.
From myself, thank you to each and every listener and viewer of the show. A special thanks to every single guest that has joined us, because, as Nick mentioned, without them we couldn't do anymore. And, 2022, we all hope it brings way more joys than it does sorrows. And let's look to the future, let's look positive. And we're blue, we're through and through, and we'll end up that way no matter where we are or how it is.
Absolutely, Mark.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.
Just keep right on, everybody, to the new year. Hopefully this sort of last horrific couple of years is hopefully going to be put on the back burner. We can forget about it, we can move on. And echoing what the other guys have said, just every single person involved who watches, the gang here, just look after yourselves, have a brilliant Christmas, brilliant New Year, and let's just keep right on to 2022.
And Chris Browne.
Yeah, just really...
Bit closer.
Just reiterating what everybody else has said, yeah. But a massive thanks, really, and most importantly, to our viewers and listeners, because without them, we wouldn't have a show.
We wouldn't.
No.
Well, we would, but
have a
we'd be
show.
talking to ourselves, girls and boys.
Which we did for quite a long time.
We did for many, many years. And the cat, of course. Can never forget that cat, Chris.
That's right, yeah. And just to leave on, Dom Kavanagh says, what a show, and man to finish with. Malcolm Page, superb. Thanks all, very interesting. You've helped 2021 pass more enjoyable.
Thank you to each and every one of our listeners on the Tilton Talk Show, and to everybody that's contributed to our amazing charities and all the hard work that they do up and down the country. It's been a difficult year, it's been a long one, it's been a hard one, but we've got to say good night now, and from me, I'm going to get Malcolm to wrap the show up completely. And from me, it's thank you so much. The goosebumps are already up on my arm. Thank you so much to every single one of you, to the team here. This just is genuinely the best thing in my life, I promise you. And I had a monster of a migraine this afternoon, and I messaged Chris. I said, Chris, I don't think I can make it. I'm so disorientated. And he said, we'll scrap it because Malcolm's coming in. I said, mate, give me 15 minutes. So, like the rocks that we are, we do journey on, we do carry on, and hopefully the end of the road will soon be in sight. Have a safe, happy Merry Christmas and an amazing New Year. Malcolm Page, our last guest of 2021. Close the show, sir, and thank you for the memories. Yeah. Incredible.
Well, thank you, lads, for having me tonight. It's been a real pleasure, and what a fantastic job you do for the fans. Really, and I know how much they appreciate it. Can I just say a personal thank you to all the fans that helped me through my career, and I've been a fan with them ever since. And may 2022 get this bloody ground properly replaced, so that more of you lads can come in, and ladies, and fill the ground up again, and we can be good enough to give you some enjoyment.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2021 is now over. Malcolm Page. And everybody that comes here always gets the clap off the Tilton Talk Show. Good night. God bless. Take care.